live. Lifelong fulfillment, vision in action. You live. Lifelong fulfillment, vision in action. Live.
And welcome to another edition of Vision in Action Live. We're on location in Carrizozo, New Mexico, and broadcasting through our studios at West Vine in Grover Beach, California. Happy you could join us. I'm Jim Boswell. I'm your host, and I'm the instigator of the Lifelong Fulfillment Initiative for Personal Development. I'm also the author of Lifelong Fulfillment, Take Charge of Your Life, and its companion website, lifelongfulfillment.com. On the Vision in Action podcast, we focus on the expert knowledge and the solutions that it takes to build individual personal development solutions. These are the component solutions that allow you to construct and pursue the complete vision of your best authentic life. So to do this, we bring you experts in every conceivable discipline to help inform your thinking about your own journey to lifelong fulfillment. So welcome one and all. Today we have a discussion with Miss Naima Spencer, who is a certified mindset facilitator and a former CIA officer, and she specializes in transformative mindset change and self-improvement. Welcome, Ms. Spencer. It's great to have you on the program.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure. So let's talk a little bit about mindset transformation. And let's just assume, for the sake of argument, that our audience is not particularly familiar with that concept. Maybe you could walk us through what a given mindset might be, how you can direct it, transform it, that kind of thing. And why would we want to do that?
So we want to do that because mindset is everything. In my humble opinion, mindset is everything. Mindset is the set of perceptions and assumptions that we make about our experiences, about our life in general. So when we have a growth mindset, when we take some type of control, because we'll get into it in a little bit, but when we are able to keep our mind in check and to take into control our perception about things, about our experiences, about the things that we go through, then we can get to the other side in much better shape than when we judge and when we wake up and we have anxiety, when we go through life with fear. It's all because of how we think. It's all because of our thoughts. It's all because of the meaning that we give the experiences that we go through. It's not the experience per se. It's really about the meaning that we give the experiences, because you and I can go through the same experience and have different perceptions at the end of the day. So is it really the experience, or is it the meaning that we're giving that experience? And that's because of everything that you've been through, because of everything that I've been through.
Right.
That's how we're gonna put labels on the things that we experience in this life. So when we work on our mindset and we work on getting our perception in check, we work on taking a little bit of control over the stories that we tell ourselves every day, then our life can begin to improve. Because really, we go through life every single day telling ourselves stories. You say something to me, you may not mean anything by it, but it all depends on how I'm going to perceive it. It all depends on the story I'm going to make up in my mind.
Right.
You know, and that's going to affect how I'm going to deal with you. That's going to affect my perception about you, for example. So, yes, I truly believe that mindset is everything.
Okay. All right. Now, you've had a varied career, and in fact, have had a very interesting life up to this point. Maybe you can tell us how that all rolls into your interest in mindset and how you sort of made it work for you a little bit.
Yes, absolutely. Just to give you a quick thing about my life story. This month, actually, I celebrated my 26 years in the US.
Congratulations.
So thank you. I'm really pleased about that. So 26 years ago, I moved from Morocco to the States in pursuit of the American dream. And basically, through my own struggles and triumphs, I discovered the transformative power of mindset, which has shaped not only my life, but also my approach to helping others. So I feel I really want to tell people that it's really important to know that the experiences they've had, those things don't define you. Those things don't they don't determine your future. They just help you discover who you are and help you discover and develop your character. So when I think about my background, for example, and some of the setbacks that I've experienced coming to the United States as an immigrant, trying to create a better future for myself, and for a period of time, I didn't believe in myself. I did mediocre jobs for 8 years, even though I had a goal and a vision.
Mm.
Coming to the US, I thought the first thing I want to do is to get my MBA and secure a professional job for myself and have a better life. But for 8 years, I spent them basically babysitting, waitressing, doing mediocre jobs because I didn't believe in myself. I didn't think that I can do it. And
Mhm.
that lasted that long until the pain of staying the same became greater than the pain of change. And that's when I said, okay, I cannot do this anymore. Enough is enough. So I decided to take action. And it's amazing. It's amazing, Jim, when we decide to act on our dreams, how things just begin to fall into place. So based on that decision that I made, because I couldn't take that pain anymore, I went back to school, I had my MBA, and my life started to shift. Everything started to shift. I was able to start a career in the pharmaceutical industry. And then in 2009, I moved to the DC area and I started working for DoD I did that for a few years. And then I started working as a CIA officer, as a contractor for the agency for 12 years.
Mm.
And that gave me even more clarity to figure out what my purpose is, which is working with people, helping them get their mindset in check and helping them to figure out how to bridge the gap between where they are and where they want to be.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about the process. It's been our experience with lifelong fulfillment that the mindset of, say, an 18-year-old is radically different from someone who's mid-career in their mid-40s, or someone who is approaching the 60s and after and considering, well, maybe I might retire. And each of them have different levels of resources that they've grown over a lifetime. So maybe you could talk to us about an instance of someone who might come to you and say, okay, here I am. I need to get unstuck, just as you said. The pain of what I have now is probably less than the pain of getting this change done. Help us understand about how that might work.
So, how to bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. One
Mhm.
of the most important things that we have to do is first figure out, what do you want out of life? We need to have clarity. A lot of people, unfortunately, don't have clarity. They only know what they don't want. You ask someone what they want, and they go, well, I just don't want this, and I don't want this, and I don't want that. Okay, but that's not my question. We're so accustomed to just focus and talk about our problems and the things that make us feel stuck instead of shifting our focus into the things that we want. yeah, I want a better job, I want a better home, or I want more money, or I want a better relationship. People unfortunately don't think like that. They just go, I don't want to be in this relationship. I don't want to be in this house. It's too small. I don't want to have that, friend, or I don't want to have that car. I don't want to have it's all, stated in negative ways. And it's because we don't have that clarity. When we sit down, one of the tools that I use is called the Wheel of Life, where for the first time when I did it, it was amazing because I had the opportunity to stop and really analyze each area of my life.
Mhm.
Never stop to think about that. We just have a general feeling about how our life is right now. But where is that discomfort coming from? Is it because I don't have enough friends? Is it because I'm not happy about my um, career, for example? Is it because I don't have enough money? Is it because my relationship with my partner is not great? What is it exactly? But many of us don't stop to do that, to analyze how our life is going and what are the areas of our life that we're not feeling really fulfilled. You may have a slight idea, yeah, I'm not happy at work, or I don't have enough money, or I have too much debt. But when we stop and really look at each area and figure out exactly how we feel about it, it's really a transformative system that we can do. So once we figure out and have that clarity, what is it that's calling your name? Something that resonates with you, something that you enjoy doing, that you want to have in this life. And the second thing, in my opinion, is to decide what you want out of life. It's
Mhm.
amazing. There is an amazing book called The Power of Decision, and it teaches you exactly how to make those decisions and how important it is to make a decision. Because if we don't make decisions, consciously making decisions about what we want to create in life, we're just drifting. We can accept anything that life throws in our path. Okay, well, I think this is good enough. Yeah, it's okay. Well, is that really what you want? Well, that's good enough. But when you decide and you make that conscious decision to live life on your own terms, it it opens up so many doors for you. And then once you do that, create a plan of action, and then break down that plan into manageable chunks so that you begin to do things that will move you in a direction of your dreams. And the other thing that I find really important is to develop a support group, a group of like-minded people who are going in the same direction you're going, people who will support you, people who will hold you accountable. You
Mhm.
know, as they say, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step.
Right.
you know? So nothing can happen if we don't get started. I love Les Brown. He said, you don't need to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. We
Mhm.
have to get started. We don't have to figure out the whole process. If I look at a journey, if I want to run a marathon and think that I'm need to run 40 miles, there is no way I can do that. But if I think, let's just think in terms of first mile, second mile, and figure out how far I can go. And the moment you take that step, things will begin to open up and life will start working to help you get what you want, to help you get the support that you need. But you have to stay open to it. You
Right.
have to focus really on what you want. And that focus is preceded by a decision. You have to decide what you want out of life.
Right. There also seems to be the issue of, in the US as a society, we have migrated in a lot of ways. I mean, the baby boomers by and large had the opportunity of, if you decided or you chose to follow a path that was informed by, institutions, parents, those kinds of standards, you could pretty much do that if, because you would get promoted or you would be promotable simply by doing the work and, pretty much adhering to the way the system worked. I think these days there's so much noise in the marketplace about, we'll do this, do that. So much in education and lifestyle that, young people frequently, uh, it's a miasma kind of choices. And I don't think we've given them the help with the critical skills to make the decisions. So I think in many cases, making that first decision that you're talking about of getting to a pain point that says, I have to change is is probably the biggest roadblock. Once you've decided the pain is too much, it seems good to go ahead and make a mindset change and pursue your own goals. The other thing is we don't spend a lot of time learning about ourselves. We rely on institutions, politics, parental guidance, schools to tell us what to do. And that's a receiving thing as opposed to saying, okay, well, I take this and I decide what I want to do with it. So I think what you're doing is really important in that respect.
It's really important, and this is something I'm speaking about this out of experience. I've lived this. This is exactly what brought me to become a certified mindset coach. I had a great career with the CIA, but I believe this is my calling. This is my purpose because I went through those steps. I've spent years feeling completely lost, didn't know what to do, feeling completely stuck. And my life didn't begin to change until I started to change myself.
Mhm.
It's a lot easier to blame the environment, to blame people. Nobody will give me a chance, which was something I used to tell myself a long time ago. I thought, well, I came from Morocco with a bachelor's degree, but I don't think any company is going to give me a chance. They won't even recognize my degree. And I was blaming it on outside circumstances, but it wasn't, my life didn't begin to change until I realized that the problem is with me, not in my environment. I'm the one responsible, even how people will see me or how these organizations will see me. I'm responsible for that, not them.
Right.
Nobody's going to give me a chance. I have to go and take that chance. But I'm sitting here blaming everyone and everything else. And that didn't move me anywhere. It wasn't until I changed me and I started pointing the finger inward that things began to change because I realized that I had a lot of limiting beliefs. I had to do something about those things. I had to change the way I look at things. I love Wayne Dyer. He said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And it's so true. Your environment is not responsible for how you feel. No one can offend you without your permission. It's really a true statement. When I heard it the first time, I thought, that's interesting, but it's
Yeah.
so true. If you don't give that thing or that person permission to offend you, no one can do that. But many of us, they blame what's going on outside of their environment. I mean, especially in these days with everything that's been going on politically. Some people are afraid, some people are happy, but it has nothing to do with that. It's if you just focus on you, on making yourself better than you were yesterday, because that's the only person you're competing against, who you were yesterday. I
Right.
want to improve myself every single day. I want to improve my mindset, the way I look at things, to become more patient, to be more at peace, to not have that anxiety, to just feel at ease with what's happening around me. That's what's going to make things on the outside better. When we calm the chaos, the internal chaos, the outside will feel and look much better.
Right. Right. So the dissonance that initiates this process, do you think they're mostly of a strategic nature, or do you find that it's a mix of strategic and, little issues as well that prompt people to want to change?
What do you mean exactly?
Well, um, Strategic might have to do with, can I see long enough down my lifeline, shall we say, to say that I want to look at a long-term goal because I think that will satisfy me. And what do I base that on? If I've had some psychological profiling, that's probably a realistic thing. But it seems to me also that there's a lot of short-term issues that people are more focused on, that they're more tactical. They're not really about a life direction. They're about relief of pain. What do you think about those?
So whatever you focus on grows. This is really another important point that I love to discuss with my clients. What are you focused on? Many of us are either focusing on the past or on the future. And like they say, when you focus on the past, you have depression because you feel stuck and regret things that you did or didn't do. But now you have to realize that no matter how much regret you can feel, there's nothing you can do about the past. It's done. It's over with. Figure out what lessons you can learn from that past, from those experiences, from those decisions that you made, and move on. Or we're focusing on the future. And when we focus on the future, we have anxiety. Why? Because most of the time, we're anticipating the worst case scenario. Many of us don't focus on the future and feel good. We focus on the future and we start to have these reservations. Is this going to happen for me? I want this so bad. Am I going to have my job next year? With AI right now, am I in danger? Are things going to work out for me? And then we're living in the future with anxiety and fear, but we forget that all we have is just this moment, the present moment. That's all we have, just right now. We can plan and plan and plan, but tomorrow is not a promise, right? I mean, as optimistic as you want to be, tomorrow is not a promise. It doesn't matter how old you are. Tomorrow is not a promise. So all we have is this present moment. This is not to say to not have goals and to not have dreams. No, to do that. But there is a difference between having goals and dreams and focusing entirely on the future, because all you have to do is focus on the present moment, because when you do that, you free up the mind from all those thoughts of worry and anxiety. And when you free up the mind, you have more capacity. Everything is happening in terms of energy. Once you have more capacity, now you have more energy to focus on what you're doing, to focus on those goals, to take that first and second and third steps that you need to take right now in order to have those goals in the future. I love Eckhart Tolle. He said, the future never arrives. When we talk about next week, when next week arrives, it's the present moment.
Right.
It's not next week anymore. So it's really interesting. But honestly, what I found, even in my own life, is that focus is critical. I can feel sometimes when I'm not feeling at ease or I have a problem and I keep thinking about it, but the best thing that I do for myself right now is to catch it. I have that awareness. I don't live there anymore. I have something happening and I catch myself. And when I do that, it's amazing how by just changing focus, consciously changing focus, you just go, okay, well, I'm not feeling good right now because I'm thinking about this and this and that. What can I do about that? If there is something I can do about that, great, let's do it. But if there is nothing that I can do about that situation and it's not under my control, then switch your focus. Okay, what do I want to focus on right now? Focus on something that I'm working on. Focus on a happy thought. And it changes entirely the entire chemistry of your body just by consciously changing focus. So yeah, I mean, all I want to say is that now is all we have. The present moment is all we have. Just be mindful of it. Be aware of it. Living in the past or living in the future is not going to change anything,
Right. So do you see a rising tide of interest in this transformation? And do you see the demand for your services and others who also do this
Absolutely.
increasing?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the market forecast is the people that do the kind of work you do with clients are actually in short supply. So,
Yeah. I see a lot of people really gearing more towards coaching, mindset coaching than therapy. And I have nothing against therapy. I've done therapy for years. It's not, it's not a bad thing, but I just feel that a lot of people now are more into coaching because it's more results focused. I feel like when I was doing therapy, it was a space for me to just vent and complain. Yes, I get some insights, and it helps me, but it takes a long time.
yeah,
But with coaching, it's it's results oriented. Yes, what's the problem? We're not going to stay there. We want to identify what the challenge is, and now we're going to start working. What actions can we take to get the results that we want instead of, okay, well, I have this and this is not working and this is what I've been suffering from. And we're not going to stay there. I need to know what the issue is and then move on. Like I said, shifting focus. Now we're going to go from issues to results. What can we do? And that's what we focus on week after week. That's what we work on. So yeah, people get great results. I mean, I've done a lot of coaching for myself before I even became a certified mindset coach, So and it's really life-changing, honestly.
okay. And you have a website where people can reach you. Would you like to refresh the audience here for your contact points in case they need your assistance?
Yes, definitely. It's naimaspencer.com. And actually, when you go there, you can schedule a discovery call. I do a 1 hour free discovery call with anyone who's interested.
Oh, that's quite an offer. That's really helpful. Well, listen, Naima, we're coming to the end of our time, and I want to thank you for, spending some of your precious resources with us to inform our audience about what's possible. And I can't help but be in violent agreement with everything you've said, because we emphasize a lot of those points in the lifelong fulfillment process as well. So we look forward to seeing you again. We wish you a happy holiday weekend, and thank you for joining us on Vision in Action Live.
Thank you so much, Jim. It was a pleasure connecting with you today, and happy holidays to you.
Right. Thank you. So I want to thank our guest today, Ms. Spencer, for her insights that you shared with us. And thank you for attending Vision in Action Live today. We hope you found it helpful. Some of our future episodes will look at long-term care strategies for retirees, coaching solutions for everyone, veterans issues, personal finance, divorce, and retirement, to name a few. These will mostly scheduled in Q1 of 2025, so stay tuned. Our podcasts focus on interviews with these subject matter experts and people that lead self-directed lives so that you can see exactly what one can accomplish for oneself. Check out the newsletters, podcasts, and extensive reference materials at lifelongfulfillment.com. All of these are free to you. You can find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and your favorite podcast channel, and additionally now on KFRED Internet Radio. I encourage you to listen in. I'm Jim Boswell. I'm your host, and you can reach me at jim@lifelongfulfillment.com about anything. And until next time, what is your Pareto priority focus these days? Thanks. Have a good holiday weekend, folks.
Lifelong fulfillment vision.